Want to learn about VelociCoaster previews, kid areas opening, and much, much more at Universal Studios Orlando? Well, you're in the right place, for you're watching WNU, your weekly Universal news and updates, where I go over everything that's happened weekly in Universal and edits like this one. But let's not blabber on for an intro and get straight into the updates with my first topic. General news, the topic that I actually put something for pass holders in just because I thought it was too good to not put in the beginning of the video. So this week, VelociCoaster pass holder previews became available, and they were immediately filled. The preview will be on May 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. A registration is required, and there will be no standby line, so you cannot go up on the preview days and go on. You have to have a pre-acquired registration, which all of them are gone now. Also huge, If I Ran, the zoo reopened, and actually quickly closed due to weather. However, it reopened, and it now has a hand sanitizer station at its entrance, and physical distancing markers. The slides happen to be closed with black tarps at both the beginning and the ends of the slide, and also some water features have been turned off. However, cast members were constantly sanitizing everything, and actually, the only interactive feature that was not working was the fire hydrant, which is kind of unexpected because you would think that more things would be not working or sealed off because they're interactive, but they're not, so a bunch of stuff is still here. Also huge for VelociCoaster, the coming summer 2021 label next to the VelociCoaster height requirement now says opening June 10th, setting it in stone that this is happening. I'm very excited for June at this point. Next, actually out of the parks, a new Universal Studios store is set to open in a new Terminal C of the International Airport. Now, if you don't know, there's already a Universal Studios store in the International Airport in the main check-in area. However, they're adding another one, so this is fun, and you can get them on your way in now. As for something completely different than the airport, injury reports for the first quarter of 2021 in Orlando came out. However, all that was found in Universal was that a 42-year-old woman experienced syncope or fainting on Hulk, and that a 71-year-old woman experienced motion sickness on E.T. Though these sound small, Universal sometimes uses not as intimidating words for major injuries. So we are unsure if these are serious injuries or not. However, just take it with a grain of salt because it might be crazy and it might not. It can really be either because of the ways they word them. Bad news aside, a new audio was played by the Jurassic World VelociCoasters, new lockers in the Discovery Center, which tells you basically how to use the lockers and what you have to leave behind, which you can hear here.
Please scan your park ticket at a locker station that has a green light. Remember to keep your ticket with you at all times. You will need your park ticket to re-enter the locker after riding. All loose articles must be placed in lockers, including cell phones, wallets, bags, and loose change. Guests with backpacks or large purses will need to stow loose articles prior to entering VelociCoaster. Remember to keep your park ticket with you at all times. You will need your park ticket to reopen your assigned locker.
The audio is very helpful as it's something that guests will probably need, so it's good that it's here. Moving over to Toon Lagoon, Hedgecliffe's fishing rod, which has a bone attached to it, is now moving again. There isn't really a ton to say about this, but it's fun to see mechanics like this working again and being turned back on. Not surprising for this week, the VelociCoaster tested again, generally and with people. Now, I remember when this was a huge thing that it was testing, however, it's now just general news. It happens a lot, and due to the fact that it's opening on June 10th, I think that we're getting pretty close to when testing isn't gonna have to happen. It's just gonna be people on the ride, so I'm excited for that. Also this week, walkways in between the parks were closed, which makes a lot of sense. Since spring break crowds are gone, there's no need for the walkways in between that keep people in the parks, so you can just take the walk through City Walk instead. Over by Fievel's Playland, background music was played at the end of the slides, but that's not it, as rafts were spotted. This means that they're getting closer and closer to being opened. Texts have been seen there, and now with music and rafts being there, I think it's safe to assume that this will be opening soon, along with the other kids areas. So before I talked about how spring break crowds are gone, which is reflected in now that prime parking is $40 again. It went up to $50 when spring break happened so that people would pay more for the parking. However, they've put the prices down. So this is a quick lesson for anybody who's going soon. If you go during a high crowd time, parking is going to be a bit more expensive, so just be ready for that. Finally for this topic, the park's at capacity on Saturday. Like I said, spring break crowds aren't as much, which means that capacity isn't going to be hit as much, hence why it's only been hit one day this week. So that's a lot of stuff about the VelociCoaster and crowds. However, the VelociCoaster will be bringing in crowds, and we can see all of the progress on that in my next topic. Construction, the topic that's definitely not breaking its chain of having a good amount of stuff happening in it. So this week, the VelociCoaster sign that said Summer of 2021 in Jurassic Park now says opening June 10th. This is really cool, and I'm happy that they added this, as this signage has said opening Summer 2021 for a while, and now it says June 10th, so it's more accurate. Second for the VelociCoaster, next to some of the VelociCoaster station walls, a water fountain has appeared. Now, this is nothing huge, however, it's something built really close to it, which is pretty cool. And it's fun to see that stuff this close is being built, meaning that more isn't going to be added there. Also this week, the bypass bridge walls were moved even further up. These are near the entrance of the VelociCoaster, so they probably either did this for filming purposes or construction purposes. We don't really know why, however they have been moved up, and the bypass bridge is blocked by this, so be prepared for that if you're going soon. Additionally, for the VelociCoaster, fences were put around a small area near the paddock wall. The signs near it are hung up on them also now say opening June 10th instead of coming summer 2021, which yet again is awesome. This is just more accurate and it's around the parks, and it's actually taken them a couple of weeks to do this, so it's cool to see that they did it now. Also this week, a film crew was seen behind these gates, so obviously they were filming and we're not sure what for yet, but there's been an awful lot of promotional filming for the VelociCoaster, so let's just hope that it'll be part of that. Also, an advisory sign was seen at the entrance of the VelociCoaster. Now, as much as I love to sit there and try to read it all off, I can't really make it out. However, if you want information on what you need to know to get on the ride and height requirement and things like that, you can check out this video, as it has all the information because it was put onto the Universal Studios Orlando app. A bit away from the VelociCoaster, this week the Jurassic Park arches were repainted and refreshed to be more colorful. This is only part of the refreshment that has been happening on Isla Nublar for Jurassic Park's island, however, it's fun to see them repainted and looking more vibrant. Over at Studios, a class of 2021 photo background has appeared next to the Coca-Cola refreshed drink station next to Men in Black. Now, there isn't actually going to be a grad bash this year, however, there's obviously class of 21 things coming out, like the tie-dye t-shirt that came out last week, and this new photo op. Back to islands, scaffolding was actually seen in the top of the Islands of Adventure lighthouse. Now, refreshments have been being done on this lighthouse, and I don't know if it's for the VelociCoaster or just because it needed them. However, this is obviously a step in the process, hence why scaffolding is here. As for more renovations, some of them are being done on the Curious George Goes to Town area, which has barriers and wet paint signs. Now, this is just a continuation of trying to reopen kids areas, which it's fun that they're doing because these have been closed for a while now. Continuing the kids areas theme, a blue rope on Fievel's Playland was strung and tied onto a water pump. Now, I don't really know if this has any use, however, it is here, and I'm reporting on it, so if this affects you at all, here it is. Also, some painting was being done at the exit of If I Ran the Zoo. Now, this was before it reopened, so it makes sense that they were still painting it here. It is all completely dried and painted now, obviously, as it is reopened. Continuing in Seuss, a damaged sign at the end of the Truffula trees at Seuss Landing was fixed. I don't really know how I'm supposed to say that. Truffula, however you want to say it. However, a sign at the exit was damaged, and it is now fixed. Finally, for this topic, more shrubbery was added to the Three Broomsticks patio. There has been so many varieties of the ways that they've been doing. So there's a big variety in the way that those fences look. However, we can see a kind of food that has much more variety now in my next topic. Universal Orlando annual pass holder news, which my only updates actually concern food products. So this week, a new UOAP exclusive Backwoods Mule drink became available at Chez Alcatraz. I don't really know how to say this because it has a 3 in its name. However, it has no advertisement, so you need to know to ask for it to get it. It will be available from April 16th through June 30th, so if you want it, you do have to get it sometime soon. Also, a new limited annual time pass holder dish became available at Cafe 4. It is a vegan eggplant parmesan, which is breaded eggplant and sauteed vegetables served over with marinara and topped with melted vegan cheese. Now, it's basically a chicken parm, but with eggplant instead of chicken, and it will be available from April 16th through June 30th. So that's about your food updates. However, it doesn't end there, as we can look more on the sweet side in my next topic. City Walk, where all of my updates come from one building, Tucson's Chocolate Emporium. So this week in their walk up, they added 3 new s'more snacks: a salted caramel s'mores, a cookies and cream s'mores, and a 65% ganache s'mores. These look amazing, and what they are is basically just chocolate with the s'mores things inside and then the flavoring that they put with them. So the ganache one has like 10 grams and things, which is pretty cool. So we've made it through most of the topics in the video. However, it's not the last one, but the next one will be, so let's take a look at my last topic. Merchandise, the topic that gets pushed to the end, but still has some interesting stuff in it. So this week, a few pieces of Mardi Gras merchandise have gone on sale for 30% off, which you can all see here. And also, a purple General Mardi Gras shirt is now $18.99, which is less than it was before. It might sound expensive, however, that's just universal prices, so yes, this is on sale. Also, a new Popeyes 100% American mask became available, along with a Hello Kitty and Friends mask, and a XO Betty Boop mask. All of these are pretty fun masks, and Universal has been getting us more and more, so you have a lot of options now. Next up, the retro windbreaker jacket has become available after being gone for a while. It was out of stock, and apparently it was very popular as it's been out of stock. However, it is back now, so if you want it, you can now purchase it. Also, a retro tank top became available. This is a new one, oddly enough, though the retro line actually came out a while ago. But there is a new tank top if you're interested in it. And finally, a Grad Bash 2021 Freestyle Cup became available. Now, these are fun, as generally when you buy them, they end up being infinite refills. I don't know if that's the case with this one, but my guess is it is. And if you want something to celebrate of 2021, even though Grad Bash isn't happening, you can get it with this. So that's everything that I could find in Universal Studios Orlando this week, and I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making this, and I know that this one's a bit shorter and is probably not going to do as well, but I'm just happy that I have the video finished. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and or subscribing. It helps my channel out, but let's stop with the self-promotion and this outro and go ahead and finish this video off. So, this is Wunu, signing off.